So we're back today with Jordan and with Stephen this time because the podcast that Jordan and I put out the last time has had immense feedback. And, you know, I think the reason for that is it was so authentic. We've all built businesses from the ground up. We didn't get a head start in life. And I think it's so relatable for people. So we've actually been doing quite a wee bit of business in Dubai, and we thought, why not actually just make this a series? Let's get some value out there. Let's have some fun. Let's tell all these stories that we actually share privately, and let's get it on camera. So we're going to start off by highlighting something that's actually been really relevant to us in the last couple of weeks. And we call it the kind of business basics because we feel that there's so many people grafting hard out there just now, right? And it's like, they're staying up late, they're chasing the invoices, they're posting on social media, they're building relationships, maybe working 7 days a week. But it's like a sieve. There's decisions that people are making where they're losing business. And I thought it was really important to speak about that today. So what's you guys' experience been in the last couple of weeks just in terms of the basics of business? Where are you seeing people not following through or doing what they should be doing that's kind of losing them business, would you say?
You go first, Stephen.
Where do you start?
We've all got our stories, eh?
Aye, definitely.
I think the obvious ones, it's like the communication thing is the biggest thing. Obviously you see memes and stuff on Instagram, you know, with the, like, a Facebook marketplace was a real place. Like, the people drive up and they're like, is this still available? And then you go to speak and then they just drive away. And it's like, that is what your DMs are like. You know, people get that, you know, we think, right, I'm going to do it, I'm going to message, and you give them some information back and whatever else, and then
they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So what impact does that have on people's businesses? Because there'll be a lot of people listening to this going, well, I do that all the time, it's not a big deal. Is it a big deal?
I think it can be. I think it tells you quite a bit about someone. I think everyone does it. I've done it, you know, where you leave somebody on unread to remember, like, right, I need to get back to that, and it might be a day or two or whatever. You know, everyone, but I think if you can do that consistently, or you see that happening consistently, a lot of the time you end up writing people off.
Yeah.
I think one big thing is, it wasn't that long ago, we had a person that had came and spoke to us, and actually her type of business was perfect for another friend of yours. And it was like, so Angela actually spoke to her, and the girl was like, 100%, that will solve my problems. And you're probably talking, what, like a decent amount of money a month?
Probably collectively over the year, probably a good six-figure contract.
Six-figure contract. Wow. And this other person didn't get back to us.
Oh, no.
And it was like, so we'd kind of said, by the way, we've actually got the perfect client for you. And that's the thing, I'm like, it's there.
Yeah.
Just ghosted.
And we've followed up a couple of times and she's not get back to us. So I think, like, my concern is if I then introduce her to a close friend of mine who's looking for her services, is she going to get back to her? Is she going to do the same? So it's like, so then I hold back, and that's a six-figure contract lost, and she probably doesn't even realise. And it's such a basic thing of just
getting back to somebody.
Aye,
that's exactly it.
Have you had experience of that?
Oh, do you know what? I've done it myself, as you say. We've all not get back to folk, and it's because you're that busy and you've got loads of plates spinning.
Yep.
But I think it's important, especially in a business, of the processing systems in place, that there's somebody, whether it be you or it's an AI bot, getting back to somebody rather than leaving them hanging, because if you could be losing a six-figure contract or anything like that. So even in recent times, I've been building a personal brand online and stuff like that, and it's like, just missing some messages for a day or two, that can be the difference that you lose that person.
Yeah.
You need to be sharp, quickly getting back to folk. That's what I've realised, that you can lose an opportunity really quickly.
Totally.
If you don't get back with speed.
Yeah. It's so important, isn't it? And like we say, like, we've all done it, and then you realise as time goes on the impact that can actually have in your business. And it's like, what perception are you putting out there? And I have heard a lot of people say to me, like, oh, I've just been so busy, you know, so I've not get back to, you know, there's 5 people in my inbox there, but does that give you an insight into how organised, how efficient that person
Definitely
is,
does.
how on top of things they are?
Aye.
And I've also had a lot as well, I'm so overwhelmed with it all. I get really anxious when there's loads of messages, and it's like, when you become a business owner, you have to plug that. So I'm not saying people don't go overwhelmed and anxious, but it's like, you can't just accept that as a personality trait. You have to say, right, well, I'm running a business now, so I need to put things in practice, whether it's the bots, whether it's a person, you know, whether it's just powering through sometimes.
Whether it's just getting your finger out and actually going, do you know what, I'm going to answer these. It's
them.
uncomfortable and I'm going to do it.
I do like the idea of having the iBots though, and then having something where it follows.
Yeah.
Like the systems we've got where it's showing the lead where it comes in, how it comes in, and then where it is along the line. I think you really, really need that if you want to scale something.
Yeah, I think if you're most people start off, they're kind of, it's in their DMs, it's in their Messenger, it's in their WhatsApp, it's in their, and they kind of manage it. And then as their kind of business just starts to kind of flourish a wee bit, that's where all the overwhelm comes from. Do you know what I mean? You get all that, oh shit, I've got this, I've got that. And I think that's the thing, if you can get into like a wee pipeline, just that's something like that. And I think people freak out when they hear that. It's like, oh, I'm not big enough for that. And it's like, God, it would make your life so much easier. But I think that's just the way. But it's the basic thing. And another thing, like, so there's that girl, potentially 100k. It's not even potentially. The actual, our friend actually said, can you just give me a number because I need it? And it's actually crazy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like 100k.
Yeah.
And it's just not all because she's not followed back up with us.
Do you think that they don't have the hunger? Like, because if you've got that hunger as well, you're sharp, you're meshing back. If you don't have that, I'll just get back to it tomorrow.
I think people talk a good game though, a lot of the time. I think that's what you realise. It's like when people say things, doesn't actually mean that it's true. And it's like, we've all heard it where people are like, you know, I'm going to do this in my business, I'm going to do that. And it's like, you start to lose respect a wee bit. And that comes back to the next basic business of not doing exactly what you say you're going to do. And it's like, I know these people that have been saying for years on LinkedIn about they're going to become a millionaire or they're going to do this, but then they're not willing to get back to messages and they're not taking the action and they're not investing in themselves. And so I think that's a big thing as well, isn't it? Doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, and you spoke about, so I was saying about that girl not getting back, and it's a bigger picture thing. Now you like, obviously are successful, but you understand the bigger picture. And sometimes the bigger picture, you do things based on, you know what? So you had said like you invested in buying a couple of shirts in someone, and it's like, you know, nice guy, want to help him out, but the guy's out meeting all these different people, so there's a bit of a network there.
That's it.
And that's what, like, we had a client that just recently come on to us, and he was hemming and hawing about coming on, like, oh, I don't know, do you know what I mean? It's a big investment, and it was doing some kind of personal branding and some meta ads and stuff. And I sent him a message. I went, listen, look, I completely understand that. I said, but never underestimate, if you invest in someone, what that opens you up to.
Definitely.
What network, I says, because it's opening up to. So he actually messaged back and he's like, do you know what? I'm an idiot. He's like, the more you have just said that there, and I'm like, why am I even? He's like, so, and it wasn't a large amount of money, but for him, it was a big decision. And the craziest thing is that was like not that long ago, and we've already put like 4 clients. And he's made
their money back
like
in more
10 times over, and it's like, but that's just a bit, so that for me is cool, because that's just a wee bit of naivety, a wee bit of inexperience, and just kind of helping them along. But you've got seasoned business owners that don't look at that big picture.
Yeah.
And that's like, you can double your revenue.
Definitely.
By just being like in that headspace where you're like, do you know what? If I invest in them, that could potentially open me up to X, Y, and Z.
New network in it. And I even getting back to, I'd say in the last 6 months of the business I had at home, so turbulent couple of years, new managers, things going on that weren't normal in a normal business, like the theft and that and stuff. So what happened was I had to invest in a finance company to come in, because I don't think my accountants were doing a great job, so I kind of get rid of them. And then also bringing in like a non-exec. Now, do I want to spend $2,000 a day in somebody? Nobody wants that. But if you want your business to get better, you've got to do it. You need help. I can admit when I need help.
Yeah.
I can admit when, if I want to say I want to get X, Y, or Z, then I'm going to need some support along the way. I've learned you can't just go and do it all yourself.
No.
And I've spent so much money and people, like, bringing them into my business to help me. And it's, I'd say, in the long term, it'll pay off. Like, if I ever got to sell that business one day, the EBITDA, the multiples will all go up, you know, rather than you're building these systems and processes, and that's exactly what the non-exec did. he was much better than I at it. He'd ran £100 million tech company. I haven't ran £100 million tech company.
Not yet.
Not yet. Listen, in the process of it, right? But and that's true. But it's like you want. In fact, I spoke to this to my PT this morning because we're just having a conversation. He's building his business and that, and I says, go out and speak to the folk that's actually done it. Go and speak to the PTs that have built what you've built. You'll get the value at them because they'll tell you something like, I'm not doing that, but I'll maybe change the way I'm thinking about something and maybe change a process or a system.
Exactly.
So I think it's important to speak to folk that's been ahead of you.
Yeah.
Places you want to go. Speak to them, learn, be in that environment, pay to get in that environment. That's important. I've been in groups, business groups, and it definitely helps.
Oh, 100%. It's invest to learn, isn't it? And that was a piece of advice that we got years ago. It's like, invest. If you want to collapse time and make those big leaps, invest to learn, because you will spend ages trying to figure it all out yourself.
Definitely.
And the other thing was, same guy that gave us the advice, multi-millionaire, and it was only employ people who know more than what you do.
Aye.
And it was so true as well, because it's like when they come in, they're given advice, they're given insights, and ultimately it's still your decision as to what direction and path you take. But to have people with knowledge and experience, that's what catapults your business. But so many people are afraid to do it. They just don't do it.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I always think back to that. I think I've told the story before, but so we used to give tons of subcontractors like hundreds and thousands, millions of pounds worth of work. And we were doing something in our own house one time. And I'd spoken to a couple of joiners, and I was like, look, any chance you could come and wipe some of this stuff out for us? Just basic stuff like sheeting and stuff. Even come at the weekend or do something. And it was so funny. It was like the amount of money I've paid them and everything else, and they were in the we'll be looking for 300 a shift, and did it. And I was like, it's whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's fine. But in my mind, I was just like, how crazy is that? And it comes back to we had a client, and we'd done quite a bit of work for him, and there was a 30 grand job. It was 29 grand or something, and that was the total price of the job. So we got awarded it. We'd done the job, and we actually finished it a bit quicker. And I'd got the materials for a decent price. But I then went back to that client and said, just to let you know, that job, it's on us. And he was like, it's what? So it was 30 grand. And he's like, all right, okay. And I went, look, you've gave us plenty of work. I'm sure there's more coming up. That's just a wee token of your appreciation. We landed something like a £2.9 million contract.
Made us millions.
3 months later.
So it may only cost you 15 grand
exactly
in reality.
In reality. And so that's the way I've always thought, but it's like, well, don't worry about that, we'll sort that out. Because it's bigger picture, and a wee bit what we spoke about at the start there, bigger picture. My bigger picture was, this guy's still spending money. We've actually done a really good job in everything that we've done so far. We probably would have got the work anyway, but that was a massive tick. You know what I mean? And it's stuff like that I think not enough people understand. It's relationships. And like those joiners that came and they're like, that's 300 a shift and stuff. It's like, if that was me, I'd have went, I'll come, I'll give you a full day, I'll rattle out what I can for you, and then if we need to come back, just pay us whatever it needs to be. And see, the thing was, I'd have just paid them anyway. I just want them to say, I'll do this for you. Right? And they don't. And it's that. So again, that just tells you about the thinking and where people want to be.
And what do you think that client would have thought, like, when you did that?
Oh, he's no daft. He'd have went, right, okay, you're obviously like your style. You're trying to keep me right. But he would have, I know for a fine while, he'd have went, all right, so you're in it. We're in this as a bit of a partnership then. Okay. And like I say, he then went on to, we get awarded, we tendered for stuff and we get awarded a ton. Didn't win everything, but we won a ton of stuff, millions, tens of millions. And it's like, that wee gesture, where did, who knows what it done, but it definitely done something.
Do you know, it's the mindset though around money, and we speak about this quite a lot between the three of us. It's like, we've all built from the ground up and we've all adopted this really, really good money mindset. And it's like, we've never ever had that mindset of, because he's doing better or she's doing better, they can afford it.
Yeah.
It's like you pay your way, you
That's
take,
it.
and that's another thing as well.
Aye.
Where I know we've all had it happen to us, where it's like people don't
coffee
pay their
scenario.
way, they don't pay bills, and it's like.
it's murder. Aye.
And I remember with an amazing client of ours, we hadn't actually got this client on board yet, but we were in the Canary Islands and we were just building our business at the time. And we loved this champagne. I'm pretty sure it's not how we pronounce it. We pronounce it the Scottish way. It's Vive Clicquot.
I think it's Veuve.
Veuve.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
you
It's
didn't say that.
Vive. Bottle of Vive.
We love this champagne, right? And the potential client and his wife that we're with, he's like, right, I'm going to get a bottle of this. And we were like, oh, it's their favourite champagne.
Aye.
And I don't know, what would that be in? It was obviously in euros. How much would it be in a bottle?
I don't know, probably only €80 or something, €100 a
100
bottle or
euros
something.
maybe,
That's
right?
mega, yeah.
So he bought a bottle and obviously you only get 4 glasses out of it, so we all had a glass. And then the client said to us, or the potential client says, right, what are we doing here? Are we getting another one? And Stephen went, I'll get this. So we bought one and then we'd finished that one. And then he says, right, let's get another one. I'll get this one. So then we were hit for like,
So we ended up
fourth
like
one.
6 bottles deep though, didn't we?
oh, it was ridiculous. So we were obviously like, that was like €300. We were in our 20s at the time. That was a chunk of our spending money. But we would never have sat in that position and went, well, he's a multimillionaire, he can afford it, or, you know, let him do it, or, you know, we've not got as much money as him. We've always had that mindset of you pay your way, you do what's fair, it'll come back to you tenfold.
It does.
And we've all been in that situation. I've been in the situation many a time where, you know, you've met somebody for the first time, they see the social media, they see, you know, the fact that you've moved to Dubai, and it's like, there is that mindset of, well, she's in a better position than me, so she should do it. And it's like, what does that actually do to a relationship? You know, it's like, what's your perception of somebody that does that? And
Definitely changes.
Does change, doesn't it?
Aye, and I've even went out for coffee and I feel like I'm the one always buying certain bottles. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, you go, that's a bit strange. Would I do business with him? Probably no, because if they were out at a client and the client paid their coffee or that, I don't know. I just think that does change your perception in people, even just a coffee.
Totally.
You know,
Always saying it. I never expect anyone else to pay. We always pick that
Aye.
up.
Yeah.
But we just like somebody to ask, I'll get
Aye,
this.
that's it.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
we're
no.
usually chasing each other.
You're not.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll pay for it.
Going away, I'm going to the toilet.
Aye, I know.
But I think that's it.
Aye.
When you're out, let's say this all the time, you're out all the time,
Aye,
like,
that's
you take
it, it's
shots
different,
each.
definitely.
But meeting someone new, we've had a few situations with people sitting in, well, you had one person in the Costa coup, didn't you?
Who asked to meet me to pick my brains, and I went and did it. He said, I'm not actually investing in MD just now because I do have a mentor, but I just love to pick your brains and I love to help people. This was years ago. And Mrs. what you after? He said, I'll have a latte and a water or something. And I said, that's fine. I ordered my own latte. And I was stood in the queue. I was actually in my bag to get
Aye.
my card anyway. But when I looked to see where he was, he'd stood back with his hands in his pockets and he was looking at the ceiling.
Oh.
And I thought, you know, I'm here. You've asked me to pick my brains and you've asked me for a meeting and I've come out. And again, it's the same thing. It's like, I would have got it anyway, but it's nice for somebody to offer, because what does that say about him? Is that somebody that I'd want to do business with? You know, where's his mindset at around that?
Do you know, think
So-
that, and talking about business basics, and this is one thing that's really important, and I don't think people realise the impact that we small things get when you're a business owner.
Because you pick it up.
Of course you do.
Pick it up more than others. There was one scenario recently where in a position like that, when somebody asks you to come out and stuff like that, you're kind of doing them the favour. They want to pick your brains or something like that.
Yep.
Buy them the coffee or whatever it may be.
Of course. Goes a long way.
It does. And recently, it's a guy that I know, a business owner back home, I flew him out here, put him in a lovely hotel, paid for his flights. He didn't need me to pay it, you know what I mean? It's fine, but I asked him to come out here. So looked after him, went for nice dinners and that, a good experience, because he's got big contracts, and it's like, who else is flying you to a destination? It's gone above and beyond. Giving them a bathroom or a kitchen for free. Like, oh, all right, they spoke mean business and they want to do business. So for me, I think it's gone above and beyond. In fact, they always don't overpromise and underdeliver.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's so true. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And folk in businesses can sniff that out very, very quickly.
Totally. And that's the high level stuff that, you know, you can do. But I want to wrap this one up. We're going to try and keep these episodes short, but
Aye.
I want to finish off by saying, who'd have thought that you can actually generate a multi-million turnover business by buying somebody a coffee and getting back to them?
Aye.
That's really what it comes down to.
Definitely
So if MD's sitting there thinking, how am I going to get to the next level? Start with the basics,
Yeah.
right?
Look in your DMs and go, I should really
Message
them back.
Aye, definitely. Aye.